Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Mindful Moolah. My name is Luke, and I'm here with my buddy Lance.
Lance,
I was
I'm
gonna let
here,
you
man.
introduce yourself.
I don't know what I'm doing with my mic, but I'm trying. I got the branding, man. We're trying to
That's
promote
right.
Night of the Living Dead here. We talked about in the last episode. Go try it out. We're just, this is a reminder. Go try it out.
Yes. So as a reminder, if you missed our last episode, Night of the Living Dead, which we have represented here, for those of you watching, if you're listening, you can't see it. Both Lance and I have on shirts that are branded. It's our game called Night of the Living Dead, and the game is all about learning how to build and manage your credit score, but it's done in a very fun and immersive way. So check it out. Yeah, nightofTheLivingDead.com. And we've also got a handful of other programs too, which we did not talk about in our last episode, but
They might come up along the way as we talk.
they'll come up along the way. But yeah, you can just Google personal finance University of Idaho, and it'll take you to all of our stuff. We are with University of Idaho. My name is Luke Erickson. I am a professor. I'm an extension specialist with the University of Idaho, and Lance also works for the U of I.
Extension educator.
Yeah, go Vandals. Go Vandals.
Go Vandals.
Okay, so today's episode is about physical wellness and how that impacts and interacts with financial wellness as well as the other dimensions of holistic wellness. So that's what we're talking about in Mindful Moolah, especially our first handful of episodes. And so we can't wait to dive into this topic with you all. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I know, Lance, like when it comes to physical wellness, like sometimes Lance and I go to conferences together because we're both in the finance. And so we'll go to similar conferences. And when I'm in a new city at a different conference or something, one of the first things I like to do is throw on my jogging shoes and just go explore. And for me, it's fun just to like kind of take in a new city, but it's also a good way to get a little bit of exercise, And so there's a million different ways to move, a million different ways to get exercise. The key is to find one that you enjoy, right? So what do you enjoy doing, Lance? What type of physical activities?
Well, I like fly fishing. I like wakeboarding, surfing behind a boat. We talked about in the last episode, I've been doing a deep dive into podcasts and AI and the heck out of it's not called kiteboarding. Kiteboarding's part of it, but it's I can't remember it. Wing surfing. So you have this inflatable wing, you hydrofoil board. That's one of the things I'm looking at getting into. But the main thing I do, I have a lot of projects. I bought a fixer-upper house because I'm frugal and financially wanted to not be house poor. So I've been fixing that up. Put in a bunch of sod 2 years ago. I've been readjusting sprinkler systems. My wife got this great idea, which it's a great idea. It's something to do, garden. So I did a bunch of garden boxes at the beginning of the summer. And I get out and I mow a lot of lawn. I walk, I help out my neighbors. And I do a lot with the 4-H program. So that's my main thing. And I play soccer with my kids. Almost every night we're out there kicking around the soccer ball. So moving around, keeping the joints loose and keeping moving.
There are a million ways to move, and there's really no right or wrong way. And what I've decided is the right way is the way that works for you. So if you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, I don't want to go to the gym. Well, don't go to the gym. Like find something else to do. Find something that you're motivated to do. Right.
I'm not the gym guy in the morning. I'll hit the gym in the afternoon. Haven't had time. I said a lot of projects around the house. Got a lot of things I've been doing. So.
Right. And of course, when it comes to physical wellness, it's not just the exercise. I mean, that's the first thing that we go to because it's kind of it's kind of one of the obvious ones. But there are other things, of course. Sleep is vital to physical wellness as well as what is it like? Oh, nutrition. Yeah, that's what I want to throw in there. Like, how could I forget about that? Nutrition, right? One of the things that they say is if you want, 6-pack abs, you get those in the kitchen. You don't get those in the gym, right? So it's all about what you eat, but it's also how you're taking care of your body, if you're getting the rest you need. And if you're also moving it, using it, the old expression, use it or lose it, is definitely applies to physical wellness.
Well, we used to say this, you are what you eat. You really are what you eat, what you eat, what you put in your body, whether it's fresh, processed, whatever the situation is. Talking to a kid that just, he was living in Italy for a little bit there, and he's like, "Man, they eat fresh there." I'm like, "Yeah, I'd like some
Right.
fresh Italian pasta and pizza right now. I'd love that right now."
Right.
Sorry,
And so that
making
means
us all
if you are
hungry.
what you eat, that means Lance, you're partially made of vegetables. The rest of you is a Whopper hamburger and buns. And
I'm a Whopper.
see, we worked the Whopper into this episode pretty early. So
I'm a Whopper and a baked potatoes and
you could do
French
worse, like it does
fries.
come with tomatoes and
Yeah, have some
lettuce, and
veggies
some
on there,
onions. Those are all good for you.
Hey,
So
ketchup is a vegetable, man.
yeah, pile on the veggies when you get those burgers. There you go.
Okay, it's probably like a fruit sauce, really, because
Yeah.
tomatoes are fruit. I messed that whole thing up, man. I gotta
Right.
go back to school and learn some more stuff here.
Absolutely. And
Ketchup, the
so
fruit
so
sauce.
so all of the physical wellness, it has to do with doing the right things, but it also has to do with avoiding the things that are not so good for you, right? And when it comes to things like illness, especially chronic illness, like that's something we want to pay attention to because it's not just the physical things, but as we start to get into the interaction of the other dimensions, we'll see that the other dimensions can actually affect your physical well-being as well. And the one that's easy for me to talk about at first is emotional wellness. So if you think about when you are very emotionally unwell, so you're very much like say in a place of depression or anxiety or severe stress, like what's happening to your body and you can feel it. Like it's not just the internal emotions that you feel, but it's like the physiological response to that is very real. And you feel your body, it's like it gets tightened up, circulation is diminished just in your limbs and just different things like that. You're taking shallow breaths, different things like that. And really, what's going on there is that your body is holding that stress or that anxiety or that type of thing, and it's in a fight or flight, right? And that's basically the physiological response to how you're feeling, and it can go vice versa, right? If you are feeling physically unwell, sometimes that can contribute to anxiety and depression. But if you're otherwise physically well, but still experiencing anxiety and depression or stress, then that can actually end up decreasing your physical well-being, just for the reasons that I mentioned.
Yeah, and like I said, that mental side of things when you're in that depression, you're clenched, you're tight, you're not in a good space, and that's when you really start to feel those changes, chemical changes in your brain that can lead to pretty bad places. So
Right.
watch out for that. And one of the biggest things you can do to counter some of those mental things, it's physical fitness. It's taking time to meditate, taking time to do some push-ups, sit-ups, and it doesn't have to be a 2-hour workout. Get out there, get moving, chair yoga, whatever you want to do. But it gets those endorphins going. You feel better, you sleep better, you do better.
Right. And I like that how you said, Lance, like it really doesn't take a humongous investment of time in order to at least get the physical benefits of exercise. Um, there's a lot of research out there about taking walks. There's a lot of research out there about like really high intensity but short workouts, and they're all like extremely good for you. So basically, don't overthink it, right? Like just find ways to move. When it comes to dealing with the emotional side, though, yeah, like moving, and this is from my own experience, but also from the research. But like uh, the the emotions are actually they're better served when you are physically well, like you're physically active. So in other words, let's say you're feeling anxious or stressed or depressed or whatever. You get out and go for a run in the sunshine or just do some other type of activity. What you'll notice is that anxiety, depression may not go away entirely, but it really does dissipate quite a bit when you keep yourself moving and physical. So right off the bat, that's something that I think is worth pointing out. It's like when you're engaging in physical things that are good for you, sleep, proper nutrition, proper exercise. It's not only your body that benefits, but it's other areas of that holistic wellness as well.
Yeah, like, you get that mental clarity in there, which we talked about intellectual, mental clarity helps you learn. I mean, it's so important. And when you feel good and you look good, you're out there doing things. It's just the way it
Right.
is. We're out there always doing things.
And yeah, so that mental sharpness as well. So it's not just emotional, but yeah, the mental sharpness. So yeah, intellectual. Let's say you're going uh, to work for an 8-hour day. If you're able to work in some exercise either right before or maybe on a lunch break, or and it doesn't have to be anything crazy. You could go to the gym, but let's just say you're talking about going for a walk, maybe working in some yoga. I do have some colleagues that just like roll out their yoga mat on a work break and just like quick do 10 minutes of yoga real quick, and that just really helps refresh them. And then they get back to their work, and their mental clarity is much better, and just able to just be more efficient at work. So not all work is created equal. You show up and put your butt in a chair doesn't necessarily mean that you're being effective. So part of that balance is yeah, just keeping your body moving so that your mental clarity stays at its peak as well.
And one of the things I like to do, Luke and my brother introduced me to it. It's disc golf. I mean, there's plenty of disc golf courses, and it's free. Go out there, and like I said, me and Luke go to conferences together. We usually, when we're in northern Idaho or wherever we're at, we get our disc golf so we can run the course. I mean, you do a quick round. I think we did 3 in like an
Right.
hour or something like that. It was fun,
Yeah, make
and
it an active activity
yeah, and it
instead
was a
of just
good,
lollygagging, like,
yeah.
hustle between holes or maybe even jog a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, we were moving, got those done pretty quick, and that physical activity, the conversation, all of that is stimulating and very, very good.
Well, that takes us to the next thing I want to talk about is this how social wellness is impacted by physical wellness. And you just nailed it, Lance. It's like, well, I could disc golf by myself, but it's way more fun to do it with friends. And so it's a social activity. And there's a little bit of accountability in there too. It's like, okay, now's our time to go disc golfing. Now's our time to go to the gym. Now's our time to go for our walk. And so it's socially stimulating, which is very important, but it can also be an accountability system that keeps you on track with your physical goals. It's like, okay, my friend is doing this with me, so I better show up, right?
Yeah,
Otherwise, they
yeah.
might be mad at me or I disappoint them or that type of thing.
That whole accountability thing, and that's one of the cool things. You get into a community that have physical activity, or whether it's a gym. One of the ones I think about, CrossFit, they're a big community. They're very tight knit, and when you get involved in that, they're always pushing, pushing, and pushing to help you excel. And finding something like that is super good tool or resource to get you motivated to get out there and get some things done.
Right. So I've been in CrossFit for quite a while, and I really like it. And I always tell people the I think the physical benefits that I get from CrossFit are like number 5 on my list of reasons I go. Because the other things I get out of it are like that those social interactions that I get, which I think are great. It's a great community, like-minded people that value health and nutrition and things like that. So that's great. I also get like emotional benefits from it. If you just going through challenges in life or whatever, you show up at the gym and it's an easy way to forget about your problems, at least for a little bit, because as you're doing your workouts, you're really exerting a lot of effort. Sometimes it hurts, and like the last thing you want to do is think about your problems. Like I've got problems right in front of me. It's lifting this weight. It's finishing this workout, and it's a really nice just kind of reprieve from daily life, I think.
Yeah,
But anyway, just an example of some of the other benefits that can come
yeah,
from just focusing not only on physical wellness, but the other things that come along with it, social
yeah.
wellness, emotional. Yeah.
Emotional. Then that clarity comes with keeping centered. You got your spiritual wellness, helping you stay focused on where your true north is or where your core values are. That's
Right.
all part of that whole physical side of things, eating clean, doing all of those kinds of things. And man, moved out to rural Idaho, and there's just no good restaurants out here, which is probably a good thing. But I've really learned to cook clean, cook really good meals. I mean, anything from chicken tikka masala. I make my own pizza because there's no good pizza places here in this part of the state. I'm just saying, Luke. If you know of one, tell me. But I haven't found one yet. I guess there's a good place here in Rexburg where I'm at. But I like to make my own pizza, save me a lot of money. And that's one of the things that I think about when it comes to this physical wellness and eating good is meal planning. When you plan your meals out, you plan your budget for what you're buying, and you're buying good ingredients, and you're saving money all along the way. So planning, once
There.
again, kind of like budgeting.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So there's some research out there. There's a guy named Michael Easter. He's actually from Utah. I think he might work at Utah State, and I forget. Anyway, but he's done a decent amount of research. And one of the things that I've heard him mention before is some research on tribes in the Amazon. There might have been other tribes in other locations, but basically they found out that they're like some of the healthiest people that he had studied. And then he started taking a look at their diet and he's like, well, what are they eating? And they were eating, they're eating red meat. They're eating stuff that was, like high in fat and cholesterol and just different stuff like that. But basically what he found the difference between their diet and like I'd say a typical US diet is that there was no processed food in it, right? And
Mm,
what he found that it was just all just like whole ingredients, whole food. It wasn't necessarily like your health food, but it was all clean stuff, and it just stuff that's very easy for your body to process, very natural for your body to process, and basically, get you most of the nutrients that you need without having to worry about even any sort of supplements or that type of thing. Problem in the U.S., like so much of what we eat is just processed, comes out of a box or a can or whatever. And it's not to say that those things are all bad for you, but they definitely come with some downsides, right?
yeah,
Just a lot of preservatives, a lot of sodium, a lot of different additives that are just not good for your body.
yeah. I mean, for heaven's sakes, if soda pop, Coke, whatever you call it in the part of the United States you're at, if that didn't exist, man, I would be a twig. Because man, I drink way too much of that crap. I mean, you were to look over just a little bit over here. I got these two 44-ounce cups that I refill way too frequently. But man, it's so good. Oh, geez, I
I'm
think
not I'm
about
not judging you, and I can't see the cups anyway, so oh, he's gonna prove it. Yeah, there they are. Mountain Dew. All right.
Oh,
So yeah,
hey,
soda is definitely not something that these tribes have
yeah.
access
I
to,
mean,
and they're
gosh.
probably better off. So maybe we all just need to go back to living in the forest. I have no idea, but
No, I don't want to live in the forest. I'm okay. I like
no,
Netflix. I like my exercise. I like soccer. I like watching sports. I like all those things. And I just need to do less of that and have more
right?
focus and more dedication to my physical wellness. I
Yes,
mean,
and I
so
think we can have the best of both worlds. I think that's the
yeah.
point. It's like we understand what we should do. It's just a matter of doing it.
Yeah. That whole
Yeah,
moderation thing and maybe
right.
one can of soda, like I'm talking like a 12-ounce can, not like a 44-ounce can, but at the same time, it's cheaper to do 44 ounces than a can sometimes.
Yeah. One last thing I want to talk about, because we started to talk about spiritual wellness a little bit, but one thing I wanted to mention is I've been doing some more meditation recently, and also stuff called breathwork. And what's interesting is breathwork can actually be a really powerful, uplifting thing for you, whatever, spiritually, emotionally, but also physically. Um, and it basically has to do with like opening up your core, opening up your body and your chest. And that's another one of those like physical wellness things. If you get into a practice of it, maybe you don't have to do it every day, but like once in a while, just remind your body that it's okay to take really, really deep breaths and to hold them and to just like gorge your body with oxygen. Because sometimes we just go through life, we're hunched over at a desk a lot and we don't even realize, but we're taking these like really shallow breaths and we're really not giving our body all of the oxygen that it needs. And so it can feel like a spiritual practice to do breath work, but it also has some real specific like physical health benefits to it too, I think. And we can get into other things like yoga and whatever, like tai chi, or just many many different ways that are a combination of physical and spiritual type activities that allow you to meditate but also to move your body, which I think are really tremendous. So what we want to do now is dive a little bit into how the element of dimension of physical wellness interacts with financial wellness. And there are many, many things that we could talk about here, but the first one is pretty obvious. The healthier you are, the fewer sick days you will have, and you will also. Uh, oh, I
You're gonna
lost my
enjoy
train of thought.
you're gonna enjoy retirement better
There you go.
if you're in good shape. I
Right.
mean, the more you can do now to preserve your limbs, your knees, and all of that. I mean, nobody likes hip replacements, knee replacements, shoulder replacements. do what you can, and it's the physical exercise, the core strength, having your core strength. One of the things that I do, I mean, it's not spiritual by means, but when I sit in my chair for long hours, I'm holding my core tight because I'm trying to engage those muscles. Even though I'm not actively doing stuff, I try to do that. I've done that my whole entire life. I don't know why, just something I always did. Just hold my core in tight and make
Yeah.
sure I'm engaged.
Good. Yeah, keeping that core nice and solid. And I
Yeah.
remember what I was going to say. It was that your expenses will actually go down for taking care of your physical well-being if you're so that's one thing that I wanted to throw in there as well.
Yeah.
So you feel
Fewer
better, you're
sick
performing
days.
better at work, your expenses go down for being sick, and sometimes people think, well, I don't have enough money to pay for a gym membership or just whatever physical activity it is that you want to do, and you've heard this expression before, but you can't afford not to. It's one of those things is like the little amount of money that you're investing into, say, a membership somewhere, if you're actually using it, the physical benefits, like what that amounts to financially, is so much worth it that it's a tremendous investment from a financial point of view. The
Yeah.
key is you have to actually do it. If you pay for a gym membership and you don't use it, then that's a waste.
Yeah. It's a waste of money.
Right.
Oh man, his name is Ryan Hamilton. He got a comedy thing on Netflix. He's
Yeah,
from
I know Ryan Hamilton.
Ashton,
Yeah,
Idaho. He's funny, dude.
he is
Talks
funny.
about trying to get out. Yeah, I went in the gym. I did the neck machine like 4 times. I'm paying $100 a month. I've been there 4 times. That's $1,200. I paid
Right.
$1,200 to do
Right.
exercises on my neck like 4 times. Check out his comedy thing. It's super funny. It's on Netflix. But he has a thing about that, and they try to cancel the gym membership. It's like, got to write a letter. It's pretty funny. But yeah, who writes letters, right? I don't know when the
Right.
last funny thing, sorry, sidetracking here. Stamps. Remember when we used to have to lick those stupid things and they tasted
Right.
nasty? Well, if you're
Right.
young enough to not to ever have licked a stamp or an envelope, consider yourself grateful or blessed because it's nasty. But anyway,
Well, that's
but
also a physical benefit. We don't have to lick
yeah,
that
lick a
stamp glue anymore.
stamp. It was like, blah, yeah. Um,
It's
but
probably
yeah,
very toxic.
I'm like, and you're like, I got to drink a soda to get that off my tongue, a whole 2 liter of it to get
Yeah,
back to normal,
which
right?
is also not good for you. It's a sick cycle of unhealthy activity. Yeah.
That's for sure. But back to what you were saying before I sidetracked, the potential income growth you have from that, more productivity at work, you're
Right.
going to get promoted. They're going to recognize that you're doing good things because you're more productive, because you're healthy and you're moving at a pace that is, they're like, wow, this person's a go getter. We want them. We want to keep them. We want to give them a pay raise. We want to promote them. So there's a lot of research on that too. But yeah, the potential for earning goes up because you're physically able to do the work.
Right. Now, like anything, it's a balance because there is such a thing as spending too much on your physical wellness, buying trendy health foods, a bunch of trendy supplements, whatever. Investing like a ton in, say, like a home garage gym, and then not ending up using it or that type of thing. So, like everything else in life, it is a balance. You want to be very effective on what it is that you're trying to accomplish, and to not really just like waste financial resources on stuff that you're not really going to end up
Yeah.
using. So, I think my advice there is just baby steps. Just start small with things that you want to do, whether it's a home gym or an actual gym, yoga, tai chi studio, whatever. Try it out, get a punch card, see if you're going to like it before you actually like do a huge investment in it. And because you just want to make sure that it's going to stick before you, pay up front for, say, like a huge
Yeah.
home gym setup, or, say like an annual uh, gym membership.
Yeah.
So,
And there's options out there. What was it? It was Henry Cavill. That's right. Played Superman, right?
oh, I don't know.
Henry, the one back a while back. Oh man, it's Henry. Henry, I think it's Cavill. Whatever. He was like doing an interview or whatever, and guys like, "How did you get so cut?" He's like, 100 and 100 and 100. He's like, "What do you mean? 100 pull-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 push-ups." And he was just joking because he was really working out to get in the shape to look like Superman.
Like super, yeah.
And then he ran into this guy like a year later, and the guy was cut because he said, "Yeah, 100, 100, 100." But that's an insane amount of push-ups. But the guy looked great. So that simple stuff, just your own body
Right.
weight, getting into that, Yeah, that's just as good as a gym membership, and I
Right.
like the way you talked about that. I have a buddy that's super into fitness and puts a lot of money in it. I mean, he's got all sorts of cool toys and things that he works out with, but he uses them. And I asked him one day, I'm like, "What do you think about the tonal?" And he's like, "Yeah, I got one, man. It's like 2,500 bucks up front and then like a monthly um subscription to have your profile." And he's like, "Don't do it unless you're going to use it." He says, "Go online right now and see how many of those are for sale used." And
Yeah.
they're very rarely used. I mean, it's like slightly used.
Right.
I used it 4 times. Don't
Right.
do something you're not going to use. Do your push-ups, do your sit-ups. Start out in baby steps, like Luke was
Right.
saying.
No, and it actually doesn't take a lot of equipment to be pretty healthy. Like if you
Yeah,
it's only when you're getting to like that, just like really high kind of competitive kind of elite level that you need to invest in, a bunch of equipment and stuff like that. Other than that, it's just excuses because really you nailed it. It's like, what do you really need to do? Push ups, sit ups, whatever, air squats. Yeah, like
air
just really
squats.
easy things. You don't even need equipment for that type of stuff.
Yeah, they're super, and you know what? They have bands and things that are like super cheap and they don't take up a lot of space,
Yep.
and then go from there. YouTube workouts, local classes. In University of Idaho Extension, we have elderly yoga. I mean, not elderly, but senior yoga is what they call it.
Right.
A gal in a town above me, she does it at the local library. There's options out there. Senior centers have different things. Wherever you're at in your fitness journey, find something that's affordable. Find something that fits what your goals are.
Right. And like we talked about before, but I'll just say it again. I think it's a useful thing when you can make your workouts social because I just think that it just adds to the just whole workout experience. If you're going to spend time doing something, you might as well do it and enjoy it and do it with people you enjoy being around. So just like check more than one box at the same time.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
love what you're saying though about YouTube classes or workouts or whatever, because I know that I've actually done that with yoga before. Um, I've had some like kind of chronic soreness in my hips for a long time, and it just comes from doing some pretty intense workouts. But I've noticed that yoga really helps to kind of loosen that up, just like kind of opens up that area. Just those muscles just help stretch them out. And there are, of course, local yoga studios, but what I found is the local studios didn't quite have the times that I wanted. And I still wanted to get the yoga in, and I just went on YouTube and found a bunch of really cool yoga instructors just leading yoga, and I could just do it whenever I want, 15, 20 minutes. And it was great, and it was cheap, and it was easy, and it was free. And so what I'm trying to say is don't overthink it. Just as we've said before, yes, you can try to make it social. You can try to do it at certain times with a bunch of people or whatever, but don't make that your only excuse. It's like, oh, so and so can't go. That means I can't go. No, there's always something that you can do.
well, back to some more cost saving things. The exercises, YouTube free, senior center classes free. There's options. Getting on a sports team if you're in school, co-ed team if you're in college. There are sports teams out there. I mean, there's people playing volleyball, soccer. I get out and I play a pickup game of basketball every now and again. And then after about 2 hours, which is a lot of basketball, but I get to the point where I can't jump because my calves are just done. And it's okay. It's competitive, it's social, it's healthy, it's good. So find those good,
Right.
affordable things. And one of the other things too is, if you have insurance, use all the preventative benefits you have. Preventative care is huge. Go in for your health checkups, listen to what they're saying. They're professionals. They know what they're saying. Get your blood work done and just take care of your body.
Right. So, like any of the things that come with your insurance policy, your annual physical checkup, all those types of things, take advantage of them.
Yeah.
So, they can really
And
help with prevention.
yeah, saves you money down the road.
Exactly. So nutrition is something we've already talked about, but let's talk about the cost savings from eating healthy. And sometimes I've heard people talk about how it's more expensive to eat healthy, and it does depend on what you're buying. If you're buying like top quality steak or something, you're going to be spending some money on that, right?
Yeah.
It is relatively like clean, like protein source. Because like we were saying, even though it's red meat and sometimes it's classified as unhealthy or whatever, the whole foods are generally overall going to be healthier than your processed foods.
Well,
So there are expensive ways to eat healthy, but there's also very, very cost-effective ways to eat healthy. And again, it's just finding some basic recipes that use basic ingredients that can keep you eating those whole foods, but without having to spend much money, without having
yeah.
to break the bank.
Well, and one of the things that I like to do is I do a lot in electric pressure cookers, and I teach youth about that. I teach adults about that. I have a great chicken tikka masala recipe that's in an electric pressure cooker. Super awesome. It does really good rice. But the one I like to teach kids is pressure cooker mac and cheese. So you put your noodles in, you do all this, and I break down the cost. I need to break down the cost again because costs have changed a bit since I broke it down. But what it comes down to is Kraft mac and cheese or whatever that box stuff is. Think about it. You got some butter, some powder, and some milk and noodles. And so there's not a lot of calcium or vitamin D in any of that because you just don't have any ingredients that have a lot. It's not nutrient dense. So you have to eat 4 boxes to get full because it's not a lot of nutrients there. Your body needs nutrients, not quantity. It's about the nutrients. So you make it from scratch. You got your pasta, use a whole grain pasta, makes it healthier. And the recipe that I have calls for evaporated milk enriched with vitamin D, and then all the calcium you get from the 5 cups of cheese you stick in there. Not only are you getting an ooey gooey delicious bowl of mac and cheese, it's nutrient dense. You don't have to eat as much to get full. So, yeah, I might have spent 10 cents more per serving, but I have leftovers. And man, I've done some crazy cool stuff with this leftover mac and cheese where I've taken it, I put it in like a square um, Tupperware thing, dump it out, and it's all like congealed again because it's cheese, right? It's real cheese, shredded cheese, and I'll cut it into slices and fry it on both sides, stick it in between the 2 slices of bread with more cheese and then some
Nah,
ham or whatever. I've done mac and cheese grilled cheese sandwiches before.
there
I
you
put it
go, man.
on. I put it on with pizza, as a layer with the sauce. I mean, that's a carb load. I shouldn't do that, but
You creative,
leftovers
man.
are a way to save money.
Yeah.
I quesadillas with jalapeno poppers. I did that once. Oh, I need to do that again now. I'm thinking about it. Just need to put more tomatoes in the thing
The
and more lettuce.
creativity,
Just like
that's
the
a throwback
Whopper.
to our last episode on being willing to, just get out of your comfort zone and explore different things, right? Just be curious.
Yeah,
What happens when I fry some mac and cheese and put it on
cheese.
bread? It's like, oh, it's
Sizzle it up. You
delicious.
get something. Then you put more cheese on it. Then you put it between 2 pieces of bread with some lettuce and tomato and some bacon. You got something there. But thinking about meal planning, thinking about the ingredients you use, yes, you might spend more, but you're going to eat less, you're going to be healthier, and though that money's going to go further because you're going to have leftovers. So,
All I know is you had me at ooey gooey when you said
ooey
that.
gooey, ooey gooey deliciousness. I wish I had a picture of that. I might have to find a picture along the way and say,
Yeah,
hey, remember episode 5 when we talked about fitness and that sandwich? Here's a picture of what it looks like.
the ooey gooey mac and cheese sandwich. All right. That's a
Yeah.
creativity at its finest.
Yep.
So, yeah, balancing your nutrition with the cost, right? And it's really not that difficult. It's not as difficult as it sounds. I just think some people want to make it more difficult than it needs to be. If you're eating healthy whole foods, it's really not going to cost you any
Yeah.
more than eating the regular processed stuff you're already eating.
Yeah, and
So,
picking your meal times is important. You think about other nations where their big meal is lunchtime, and then it's light breakfast, light dinner, and then they go to bed. That's always a good option. But planning out your meals, cost effective, saves money. You get some exercise in either before bed in the morning, get your blood flowing, take deep breaths, get that oxygen going. It's going to eventually lead to way better sleep. And you need good sleep for your brain to clear out all the stuff that goes on. A good 6, 7 hours. If you're younger than 20, you need a good 8 hours take the time to get some really good sleep in. It's super beneficial for your health and your body and everything.
Right. And that's one thing I want to definitely take a minute and talk about sleep, because I feel like it's an often overlooked and just underrated aspect of physical wellness. And sleep is so important. There's all sorts of research on it, and there's so many benefits to it if you get proper sleep. It's rejuvenates your brain, your neurons, your brain cells. It helps your body relax, helps your body rejuvenate, heal, that type of thing. And so if you are, especially if you're exercising like pretty rigorously, like your sleep is actually really important because that's your recovery period. You think about what are you doing during exercise? You're actually breaking down muscles and tissues and things like that. And your rest is actually the recuperation. That's the important part. It's rebuilding what you've broken down. And sleep is very important. It's vital to that process. And in addition to that, all you have to do is just think about how you feel, at work or at school or whatever, if you're trying to operate off like, say, 4 hours of sleep. And yeah, you may get your cup of coffee or whatever, but it's like you're sort of alert, sort of there, but you're sort of kind of not also. And you think about, well, what are the health implications for that? There's all sorts of them, and also financial implications.
Yeah.
So first of all, you're not going to be performing as well at work. You also might be, depending on what you're doing, you might be posing a risk to people around you. So if you're driving, for example, and you're just not totally alert, like it's dangerous for you, it's dangerous for the people around you. Depending on what you do at work, it may be the same thing. You know, if you're whatever operating heavy equipment or something, and you're doing it on 4 hours of sleep or whatever. So all those things have ramifications. It's not just how you feel, but it's also how your body's actually going to be holding up long term, and also your performance, and just in general things in life. And all those things come along with financial costs. If you're not performing at work, yeah, you're talking about losing out on
Yeah.
promotions or maybe even getting fired just because you made mistakes or whatever. I mean, the ramifications can go on and on and on for not getting proper sleep. So,
So take the time to get some good sleep. Make it a priority, plan it out, stick to a schedule. All good things, all good things.
right. So, with that, I think we'll wrap up this
Good.
portion. And one thing I'd like to say in our wrap up is that in finances, it's similar to physical wellness. Like it's not that you can't just go in and say, "Oh, I budgeted this month. I checked that box. I don't need to do it anymore." No, like you never actually fully check off those boxes. Like you have to make them habits. So if you want to, like all the things we talked about, eating well, working out, getting sleep, those are all habits because you have to do them every single day, or at least on a regular basis. And it's the same thing with your finances. It's one thing I want to point out, like having those habits in place of doing the right things. And in finances, it actually, in my opinion, is a little bit easier than physical health, because in finances you can automate so many things. You're like, okay, I know I want to put aside this much for retirement, or this much for college, or this much for a house or something. So those savings, you can automate it. Even payments towards your debt, you can automate those, so they just like happen automatically every time you get a paycheck. And if only it were so easy with physical wellness. There are things like reminders that you can put on your watch or iPhone or whatever, different things like that. But to make it a regular habit is really what it takes to be
Yep.
healthy, both financially and physically. So those two things are really driven by our daily habits.
Yep. Make good choices, makes or develop some good habits. And I'm going to just plug this again. Teach your kids these things. Things that kids learn in adolescence, they'll take with them throughout their whole entire life. And if you're a teenager, listen to what we're saying. Start doing these things, and you'll receive the benefits. The return on investment's huge. Once again, return on investments is huge. But yeah, this has been good episode, man.
Yeah, and I like the way that you ended that, like the return on investment with taking care of your physical body just goes on and on and on for years and years and years. Because yeah, the first wealth is health, as they say. And so just take care of your health, and it can really go a long way to just having a happy, fulfilling, meaningful life. And that's what it is we're talking about. So, all right, we will let you go with that, and appreciate you joining us today. We look forward to having you join us for our next episode. And in the meantime, feel free to shoot us any questions or things that you might want us to talk about in future episodes.
Yeah. Once again, Lance Hansen at uidaho.edu, EN on Hansen.
Right. And mine is just Erickson, my last name, Erickson at uidaho.edu, ERICKSON. Okay.
All right.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.